Hey folks, how's it going? It's Friday. We've made it to the end of the week. Hope you've all enjoyed your week. Hope you've had a good week for the things that have brought you happiness. And if it hasn't, I'm hoping the weekend can make up for that. I've had a reasonably good week. Can't complain. Can't complain. Some weeks you just have to take what you can get. This week I feel has been pretty good to me, so I can't complain on that. Had a pretty decent workout. Went to the gym. Got some muscles on the go. So I'm pretty happy on that. Greetings, Bearded One. Greetings, Jeffrey. How are you? Hope your week's been better. Got some music on here. Sort of copyrighted stuff, so I'll play it through the stream once it's finished. I need to put you very loud, for there is a rainstorm. All I hear is drrrr. Oh dear. On your walls, that's not good. Unless you're trying to sleep. I know some people sleep better with the constant droning of the rain. It's cooling the house. That's good. It's feeling quite warm here. It's dark, it's dreary, but it's dry. But I've still got my fan on because it is stuffy. Feeling better indeed. Glad to hear. Yeah, it's never good when we're feeling a bit off. But glad that you're on the mend. Open the window for a free shower. Yeah, just go there, take some soap, have a wash, dance around. There'll be plenty of people doing it at the Download Festival if it starts raining. In fact, one of the years it was so much rain, there was pits of mud, and people were taking mud baths, like the crazy lot they are. They're full on like diving, like forward diving into mud. This whoosh. Quite a spectacle, but they were just covered head to toe in mud. Fortunately, Download has free showers that you can go in. Basically, just a wall with water coming out of it. They're not great, but it's a free shower. So I suspect they went and washed themselves afterwards. Fingers crossed we don't get mud pits this year, and we have at least solid ground if it's not 100% dry. But if the weather stays like it is at the moment, it's manageable. Last year, Nix was pretty much falling asleep constantly for the heat. It's not good. Watching the heaviest of bands on stage, and Nix is like, but it was that warm. So hopefully it's not quite that warm, but a bit of warmth is nice, but not passing out for heat stroke warm. It's nice to have a nice balance, you see. But yeah. I might have to open the window just to get some proper air into the room. Just checking on the camera. Camera seems okay. I might have to manually adjust. So I'm using a Logitech camera, and it kind of guesses the settings, which 90% of the time is fine. I just look a bit shiny. Maybe I'm shiny. I might just be shiny. Can't complain. Right. Let's switch over to the game dev stuff, and we'll continue playing around with this. I'll get the music on in a sec. It's still playing. It's playing one of my favourite tracks, but it'll be an instant flag because it's the Freestylers. Great group, but very recognisable by bots on the internet. Right, so I've been messing around with this off stream, and I've got it so I can just swap out whatever object the rock is. So that, technically speaking, the rock is an empty shell. It's like it's an essence, if you will. The rock is an essence. It doesn't have a physical form, but it can hold a physical form, if that makes sense. So the rock is a container, and at the moment the container is holding a chair. So if I play this, I can show you the craziness of how you can throw chairs. So the chair just flies at the castle and behaves like a chair, because it is a chair. It's a very sturdy chair, but it's a chair. And the other thing I did off stream was code the trees to wobble. I managed to tweak the code, found out a more reasonable way of doing it. But it's not the best way. I'm sure there's far better ways of coding a tree to wobble. In fact, it's all, no matter which angle, because I put another tree over here, no matter what angle you hit the tree, it always goes to the right, then to the left, and centre again. Ideally, it should take a velocity in the direction that it's hit from to make it more realistic, but I'll come back to it. It's a tick, sort of a tick on tree moves when hit. So we'll come back to that. I know generally in game dev, you write a bit of code just to do the job and then come back to it later. As long as you remember to come back to it, otherwise it becomes a feature in the release game. I think we should be outside of the copyrighted music, so I'm gonna put the stream music on now. Same problem using my pre-recorded DJ sets is that there is copyrighted music in there. Don't worry about it. Just remember that I own a fan. I plugged it in, and it's wobbly but works. Awesome. Glad to hear that, dealer. Oh, I just realised you've been in chat for a second now. How's it going, dealer? Good to see you there. Don't worry about it. I've had no problems and I've been doing it for 2 years, even longer. Even longer than 2 years. Yeah, it's mainly YouTube that sort of has an issue with music. Twitch isn't too bad these days. They found a good YouTube's worked out a good system. Yeah, multi-stream. So I'm on YouTube. YouTube, this is how kind of strict YouTube is. I've said before that I filmed friends on a guitar playing and singing covers, and YouTube's gone, that's copyrighted music, that is. And you go, well, technically yes, that what they're singing, it has a copyright, but they're singing it, it's not played. And yeah, YouTube will pick up on the covers. Twitch doesn't care so much. They just mute your VODs. So that's all good. Hit biceps and forearms today. Nice. Yeah, I'd like to see your update on the your workouts, dealer. I actually went to the gym today, so that's 2 weeks in a row. I need to make next week 3 weeks in a row. Let's check my schedule. Next week and the week after. So if I do 2 more weeks in a row, I would have gone to the gym 4 weeks in a row. And the following week I'll be at the Download Festival. And that's going to be a workout in itself. Download, they make you park about a mile away from where you're camping, and you have to haul all your camping equipment, all the food, all your clothes, everything you want to stay with you for the camping, a mile away to set up. And then, to go and watch the bands, you have to then walk a further mile to go and see the bands. Fortunately not with all your stuff, but still, that's a lot of exercise. And then, depending how energetic you get when you listen to your favourite bands, you'll be bouncing up around and headbanging stuff. So, 5-day festival. I think that's going to be a reasonable workout. So, I'm trying to build myself up so I'm not passing out for the exertion when I actually get to that. Because it is a big slog. A lot of people will go to the gym to train for Download if they're smart enough. Some people turn up and go, oh my god, this is so hard. You go, yeah, you should at least gone for a bit of walking before doing download, because they don't like to make things easy. I've been trying to go 4 times a week. Wow, that's dedication. I said at most I ever went for 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. I'm going to try and get myself motivated to go Wednesdays. Mondays might be a bit iffy because the weekend, sometimes I'm tired from the weekend. You're supposed to be relaxed at the weekend. I usually end up being tired. So to go into a Monday exercise, and then unfortunately Tuesdays I'm pretty much straight out the house, so I can't go to the gym there. And Thursdays I could get a gym session on Thursday, but then I'm going Friday and Wednesday. That's 3 days in a row. Probably not advisable unless I balance my workouts. But I'll have a think about that. I want to go to the gym more because I'm paying per month, and to get my money's worth, I should really go as often as I can. But that's how it goes. Right, so where it is, rock. So the rock object over here actually has a few different objects inside it. So it's currently got a chair, but I can hide the chair, no longer render the chair, and I can make it a barrel. So let's render the barrel instead. So we have a barrel now. So what I would like to do today is, I like how the bard falls out the tree effectively, because I've put the bard and the tree in the same collision area, so it kind of ejects the bard. I'm paying per sesh, which is unfortunate because I blew through 200 local currency in a week. Ooh. Yeah, I'm paying £30 per month. And I can go every day for as long as I want. So that's a pretty good deal. I don't know what the cost per session is. Like, if I'm only going once a week, maybe per session would be cheaper, but I do want to go more than once a week. So it'll work out cheaper as long as I'm going twice a week. Yeah, there we go. So we got a barrel now. So in theory, what's happening when I fire the rock, all those objects that are hiding inside the rock are all flying at the same time, but only the one you can see is actually reacting to the physics, as far as I'm aware. Because there's no colliders on any of these objects. Oh, there's a collider on that one. Take that off. So if I take the collider off that, I'm assuming that won't work now. Yeah, flies off. So I only need one object with a collider active, and then I just render the object at. Because can I put a collider on this? See if I can put a collider onto this. I don't know if I tried. Capsule collider. Let's do that. Then stop the game. Take the collider off the chair again. So there's no colliders on any of this, but the actual container has a collider. No, it hasn't, because I did it during game runtime. Right, so if I do that, and then run it, how does it work like this? So I want to minimise the amount of work that I have to do to swap them out. That seems to work. Oh, because the collider's a bit off-center. It kind of goes wee. It's probably not quite what I want. I probably need to move the collider a bit more central. How can we do that? Where's the collider capsule? Down here. Is it the Y? I think it's the Y axis. There we go. So we make the y-axis central to all the objects. Does mean I need to make sure the objects are centered to the collider. But in theory, I could put all the optional objects that can act as the rock inside the rock container, and all the player is doing is rendering whichever one they want to see. That feels probably the easiest way, because I just have a one line of code that just says mesh renderer is true, or activate enable mesh renderer. So I feel that's probably the better way of doing it. If I move this down a little bit, like that. Let's render out all the objects. I can't actually see all the objects because that box is a bit on the large side. But once I've done this, then right, okay, so that rock needs to move up and across slightly. Ooh, this is a great tune. I'm not sure you can hear the music very loud, but great tune by an artist called Sketty, or Mr. Sketty. He streams on Twitch, Mr. Sketty. So if you like this kind of music, highly recommend him. Awesome guy. We'll talk to his community and kind of gives digital music creation tips and stuff. And if you're a subscriber, he will listen to your music and give you direct feedback, which is awesome. Like, oh, too far. Yeah, that's about right there. So, let's try it with the original rock. See how this looks. Oh no, the it's funny, but it's not what I intended. It's got like a weird wobbly thing going on. Okay, so maybe the capsule collider needs let's take a better look at this. Okay, that's probably why. I need to look at it center on, really. It was probably right to start with. And I've actually taken it off center. Now, thinking about it, I should probably... The smart thing to do is to zero out the collider and then move this closer to zero itself. So how does that look compared to the collider now? That's probably spot on. That's probably what I need to do. I just need to not... If I zero everything, as best I can, of course. Yeah, the chair, for instance, needs to be a bit lower. Because maybe the there's one thing I learned. Says objects have a central pivot point, like the point at which it considers like movement. So I'm thinking the chair's pivot point is probably on the bottom, which maybe for like toppling. So if the chair's up like that, the pivot point's on the bottom, so the chair does this and doesn't do that. Does it make sense? Whereas a rock, the pivot point of a rock would be the center. So you want the rock to roll, whereas you want the chair to fall over. So I'm guessing that's what it is. And unfortunately, there's no easy way to change the pivot point without editing the object, it seems. I might be wrong, but it seems you have to kind of edit the whole thing. But doing what I've done here, making a container, putting the visual object inside the container, lining it up, means you can change the pivot point. So let's save that, because I'm conscious of it potentially crashing. Always good practice. Still a little bit weird on the it's a fun looking thing, but it's not what I want. Maybe I need to look around this way. That's why. That's why. Okay. Okay. I need to think three-dimensionally. See, that looks a bit better. Right, so let's unrender the rock. Let's render the crate. So that needs to come down. It's probably, whole thing's a little bit low now, but I need to move the rock container up to make it more visible to the player. Let's go up a bit now. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. The barrel. Yeah, barrel's way off. That needs to come down. Bit more. Touch more. That's about right. Chair's roughly about in the right place. Okay. Let's have a look how the chair looks, and then we'll go through all the objects. Yeah, to me now, that chair looks like it's pretty well centered. It's rotating around its center. Right, I'm quite happy with that. Let's unrender the chair. Let's render the barrel. And fire the barrel. Yeah, that looks pretty central. In fact, the barrel rolls as well. So the barrel is doing a barrel roll. Okay, let's unrender the barrel. Let's render the render the crate. That seems to be fairly balanced. Yep, that seems to be rotating around its center. That's good. Let's render the rock. Yep. Cool. We worked that out. So now I've got these 4 objects. I'm going to add more. But now I've got these 4 objects for the moment. I need to make a UI to allow the player to basically do what I'm doing here, just ticking boxes. Maybe on the side here, on the right hand side, maybe have a button that opens up a menu. It goes, okay, select object, or select projectile. I think projectile probably a good word. And then by doing so, clicking each of the projectile options will untick all of them and then tick the one that they select. I feel that's probably the easiest way of doing it. Might not be the best way, but generally speaking, if you select all objects and turn them to false, and then set the one to true that the player selects. Now, if I write the script for that first, and then I can attach it to a UI So I always like to work on the code first. For the most part. Sometimes I do UI, depending on how I'm feeling. But definitely feeling more the script side of things, because my UI skills in Unity is very basic. I'm hoping to improve that, of course. But my strength definitely lies in logic. Sort of code logic and calculating stuff. So let's make a script. So I'm just thinking, is there any of the scripts that would tie into it? The only thing that directly affects the rock is the rock launch code, but I don't know if this is gonna... It might do. Because this is the code that will send it flying, so it's already holding the object. So the object is passed in... where is it? Ridge? I think ridge. Not even sure where that's implemented now. It's actually on the rock itself. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so ridge is the rigid body, it's the rock. Evening, hugs and chat. Evening, Max. How's it going, dude? Apologies, I didn't actually get back to you last weekend. I was so out of it. I think I read your message. And then thought, oh, I need to reply to Max. And before I knew it, it was halfway through the week. But thank you for that invite anyway. Hope you've had a good week. You're doing well. It's been a busy one. Ooh, excuse me. Right. So this code is already handling the rock. Not Dwayne Johnson, but the object of the rock. So we might as well add a function into this script. Because it's already tied to it. It's already handling it. And we'll add a function down here. No problem, buddy. I'm doing okay-ish. Okay-ish. Oh. What's up, dude? Hope things can get better. Hope we can go from okay-ish to fantastic. It's definitely sad about insomnia, not continuing. But I have noticed there's an anime and gaming convention which looks very much like Insomnia, like the same vendors, the same kind of attractions. Seems very weird, so it's almost like they've jumped to the anime and gaming con. DM Discord later. Okie dokie, dude. So we need a function that changes the rock out. Now, should we give the objects an ID number? So if I give each of the objects an ID number, it's probably the easiest way of doing it. So like the stone rock is like ID 1, the crate is 2, the barrel's 3, the chair is 4. And when the player clicks a button, it just runs the function with a number, and then the code will take that function number and then run with it, kind of thing. We'll go with that. That sounds a good start on there. So let's call this. It needs to be a public function. Be a void because we're not returning anything. Make one a model of drain rock junction. That would fit in with a convention of memes and so forth. I've seen as a 3D printer person online that makes like prints 3D objects and stuff. They've made a Pikachu with the head of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So it's kind of like a rock chew. And they made an octopus with the Rock's head. But I like the idea. I'll try and find a head that looks kind of like the Rock's. If I can't find an object that is the Rock's head. And then maybe my skills in Blender will lead me to actually modelling Dwayne Johnson's head. That'd be a good test, wouldn't it? Maybe that could be an Easter egg. Like, you have to find the Rock's head in the game to add it to the list. In which case, I need to have like a true/false for the player to see it if it's an unlockable. But we'll come to that. The code will work regardless. I just need to hard code in the ID numbers. What one is it I know EGX has combined with Comic Con? I think it's just called Anime and Gaming Convention. I follow it on Facebook. Hang on, let's bring it up. But I looked at it and like the photos, it looks like Insomnia. Obviously, it hasn't got like the big gaming brands, but you know, like the cosplay section in Insomnia. It looks like that, and also the retro gaming section of Insomnia. It looks like that as well. So even if it's just the cosplay and the retro gaming from Insomnia in one convention with all the anime stores, like the even like the Pokeball terrariums as well. That store's there. So it's like, oh, like a good portion of Insomnia minus the big game names are going to be at this one. Anime and gaming. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, anime and gaming. Let's find Signal. Got the joy of half the room not having signal. Interesting, yeah. Hey, jumped over to the Twitch side. Oh, here you go. Shut up, Facebook. Was it Birmingham Anime Con? That's it. Birmingham Anime Con. But they're advertising it as Birmingham Anime Con. What? Birmingham Anime and Gaming Con. But their title is Anime Con. Like Birmingham Anime Con. So you'll find them on Facebook as Birmingham Anime Con. But they started advertising and gaming. So maybe they've started doing that since Insomnia? Maybe? But yeah, on Facebook, Birmingham Anime Con. Are they actually at... Yeah, they're going to be in August. Beginning of August is the next event. Oh, they're at the Edgbaston Stadium. So I don't know how big it is. But UK's biggest anime convention. Amazing guests including voice actors, performers and more. Yeah. What's up? Been lurking. Hey Lisa, how's it going? Hope you've been having a good week. Been seeing you in the lurking list there. Doing alright, how are you? I'm pretty good. I went to the gym earlier. So I've gone to the gym 2 weeks in a row, only on the Fridays, but I'm feeling good for that. I'm going to do 2 more weeks at least on the Fridays. Have a break for Download Festival. and then carry on and try and add a second day in. So I'm feeling good about myself. Feeling energetic, as you might be able to tell. It's a weird thing, going to the gym, working out, exercising gives you energy despite burning it. It's kind of like throwing a load of fuel into a fire and it just keeps going. It's weird. Yeah, it does, it does. It's one of those weird things that it's such an effort to put fuel into something, but once it burns, you're off. It's weird, like, when tired, it gives me energy, yeah. It's kind of, it kickstarts your body, it goes, come on, we're doing something, we need the energy, and it just keeps going from there. But it's something to try and keep in mind. It's like, I might be tired, but I know working out will give me the energy, which feels counterproductive, but it does work. It really does work. And you feel good. Feel good, feel energetic. Right, so we're at this function. Let's call it select rock. I feel that's a good name. Select rock. Oh, it's a K in rock. Probably not a space in there. Aussie. Also, be right back. Aussie wants food. Go feed the Dark Lords. I'll see you shortly. Right. So we have our function. I know about this. It's got reputation for not being run very well. A lot of dodgy things have happened in previous shows. Oh. Okay. I wondered if you knew about it. Yeah, my interest is primarily in gaming. Like, I found it confusing that a gaming convention in Insomnia has so much anime. I know there's a crossover of people who like anime, people who like gaming. But considering it's a gaming festival, for me, felt like there was too much anime. Like, nearly a third of the festival was anime. It was weird for a gaming festival. But this is obviously more anime with a bit of gaming. I'll talk about it when I DM you later. Cool. Okie dokie. Looking forward to that. This was a good set. Not to toot my own horn, but when I recorded this, I did a very good job. When did I record this? It was June 21. So, a month and 3 years ago. I was on fire. I can DJ well when I want to. Right, so we have a rock. Now, so there's two ways I could do that. I could use the IDs, like I said, or I can try and make it a bit more universal and take a text input and then work off the text input. So I would have to put the name of the object into it, and that's the one that will activate. So I don't have to label new ones. So I could try that. I could give that a go. I think I'm going to go to WASD down in London. Nice. From now on. That sounds like a good option. Especially if it's focused on the indie games. Because there's not enough focus on indie games. That's definitely where the future is for gaming. Because it's getting quite... AAA does do some pretty good, decent stuff, but they play it safe. They play it where the money's going to be, and you never have anything too interesting. And there's some reasonable stuff there, like the Assassin's Creed series. The latest one for that, Assassin's Creed Shadows, looks fantastic. I'm not going to lie, but it is just another Assassin's Creed game. So it's just more of the same, which, if it works, it works. But there's some indie games which I've never played that mechanic before. And it makes things interesting, and usually shorter. and I can sit down, play a bit of it, and not feel like I have to invest too much. As you know, I'm a big fan of indie games, yes. Which I'm glad to hear, because never know if I get good enough at this stuff. I might try and promote my work at one of these things. Never know. As long as I can make something that people enjoy playing, that's my biggest goal. I can't imagine myself being a millionaire off writing this stuff. But if it happens, it happens. Right. I'll leave the variable open for now. I want to see the code. Let's write it backwards. So let's write some code that will unrender everything. Because that's gonna be a thing that's universal. So I need to grab the rig. So rig is short for rigid body. In this case, it's the rock. So rig dot. Now, what options? It's a little frustrating that OBS doesn't show you the pop-up menu, so you can't see what I'm looking at right now. But typing in a variable or a function and typing dot comes up with like a whole menu of suggested things that you can put after the dot, which is great. It's like an intelligent AI thing of like, there you go, here's some things that you might want to type. So what do I want to put behind this? I could do with cycling through all of... I know, I've got code. I've already got code. It is in hit grid. Generate squares. Is in here. Start, get corners. Generate squares. No, there's something for resetting the squares, isn't it? Which script is that in? Is it in the score? Check win. Reset score? No, it's it's not castle. Hit grid. Castle brick spawner. Hit grid square? Is it in this? Let's have a quick look here. Rolling the dice. Trigger. Being hit. Reset square. Okay, so that's the code that runs afterwards. Is it under UI controls? No, that's just quitting. Where is it? Is it in the castle? I think it's in the castle. Reset castle. There we go. For each game object, castle in castle, run code. So for each game object, variable in collection. Okay. Castle is... Castle is finds tag castle. Okay. So these are rocks. So would this find option? Okay, so tag castle. So that cycles for the tags basically. So do these need to be... I don't think these need to be tagged as rocks. Because they're not doing anything specifically. If I untag these as rocks, they should still work, I think. Let's try this, because I can give them another tag. So I don't necessarily need to cycle everything in. It might be more efficient to cycle just what's inside here. Let's see if this still runs with them not being tagged as rocks anymore. Yes, okay, so they don't need to be tagged as rocks. So, one method is I tag all these objects with a unique tag, and then I tell the code to unrender everything with that tag, or I tell it to run through everything in as a child of that object. So we have a couple of options there then. So rock launch. So ridge.child is a child objects. Get components in children. This is a non-generic version of this method. So I want to get a list of the children basically. If you're not familiar, children in a programming sense is an object that sits as part of a larger object. And that larger object is a parent. So you have a parent and child. A parent will create children typically. And slightly worryingly termed, the parent can then also remove the children. Typically speaking. But it's only like a hierarchical thing. So you can kill objects that are children of parent objects. So reading as is, it seems a little bit psychotic, but it's just a terminology. So I don't think that's the right one. So there's got to be something that gives me everything that is inside. So this game object maybe dot that's probably a redundant thing to put in there. Name, scene, send message, active, tag, string, transform. I might have to Google this one. Because I have the object, I don't need to search the entire game. I feel that's inefficient. Constant to text drags, exclude layers, freeze rotation, and game objects, community force, torque, component. Hey there, Extra Alton. How's it going? Hope you're having a good week and enjoying your Friday. Hello, hello. I might have to in parent. Get components in parent. Well, it could be get components in children. That could be what I need. Because I want to select the components of a child. Let's do that. It's the mesh renderer, isn't it? So I can never remember. Is it in there? Mesh renderer. Will I go in there? That's it. We're learning. So this should give me a list of the mesh renderers of all the children in the rigid body of the rock. Now I probably need to make a listing of that, so let's go mesh renderer let's go mr equals oh, I don't need to do an equals really. Can we do that? Go mr equals that. So that now puts the listing of mesh renderers into mr. We can now go for each mesh renderer mesh in mr. So that should cycle around all the mesh renderers in the children, and then we can go mesh dot we want to enable is false. Right, so that code alone there should unrender all the meshes. Why is it called children? Ah, you're just after the explanations there, extra. So, the way coding works, you can have a hierarchy. So you have an object or a function, and below that function or object, there's another object or function, and sometimes below that you can have another object or function. So it's kind of like, think of it as tiers. But in coding, they refer to it as parent, child, child, child. So it's kind of like a relationship. So the higher thing above this thing is the parent of that, and below this one is a child. So this is the parent of that child. There's no such a thing as grandchildren. It's a child's child, or a parent's parent. But yeah, the parent object is rig, so the RIG is the parent, and we want to get all the components in the children of rig. So you've got rig up here, and then you have several children under rig, and those children could have children. So it's kind of like, it's to represent the hierarchy. I'm going to go head to bed. It's been a long day, thanks to the stream. Well, thank you for dropping in, dear. It's always good to see you. Hope you have a good rest. Rest those muscles and you'll be big and strong, ready to hit the gym again. Because the important thing of working out is to make sure you rest the muscles, because that's when they build. So as long as you get good rest on the muscles, it'll be all your work is gone to a good cause. What's this game about? So this game, let's just save this. This game is about throwing things at a castle. Very simple concept. So let's hit play. And I'll show you what's going on with this. So, we have a castle. The basic premise is you are a villager in a medieval town, and you're not very happy with the Lord of the Manor. And the Lord of the Manor lives in this castle. And you're going, you know what? Screw you, Lord. I'm going to throw chairs at you. And the point of the game is to keep throwing the object at their house or castle until it acquires enough cracks that the whole thing falls down. That's the basic idea. It's the first game I've ever made in its completion. I've tinkered around with coding and stuff. But it's the first thing I've made from start to finish as a game. Kind of just test my skills. So I've gone for something fairly simple. As a tester, no intention of releasing it, but people have said I want to play it, so I'll finish it and make sure people can play it. And I'll upload it for free somewhere. But the idea being, you just keep hitting it until enough cracks cover it. And that number in the top corner, once that hits 120, you win. Nice. Oh, thank you. What I'm working out right now, though, Roblox guy, hope you're having a good Friday, though. Thank you for dropping in anyway. What I'm working out at the moment is that you might not want a chair. You might want a wooden crate. So I'm working out the code to allow you as the player to go, well, I want a crate, I want a chair, I want a rock. What's up? I is back. Welcome back, Lisa. So now we have a crate. Just throw the crate there. But I want it so the player can click a button, tap a button on the side here and go, I want a chair now, I want a rock, I want a wooden crate. And you choose what you throw at it. I like throwing the crate. The crate's nice. I like the crate. I will. I'm trying to find a free object of a chicken. I've had a look around. You can buy chickens as 3D game objects. I don't want to buy a chicken. I want to see if I can find a free one or make my own. Until then, it'll be what I've got in my library. But I want to put a chicken because I think throwing a chicken would be quite funny. And a cow. To throw an entire cow at a house is a little bit bizarre, but I like the idea of it. Very Monty Python, if you're familiar with Monty Python, which I know some of you are. You could try and make the object break. Could do. At the moment, I've got it so once the object touches the ground, it counts 1 second, and then the object comes back into the player's hands. So if you look at it over here, throw the object, bounces off, touches the ground, counts to 1, gives it back to the player. Making the object break means an animation. The animation of the object breaking will have to be another function. So right now it's not a feature that's needed for the game to work, but I like the idea that it adds a bit of context to it all, because otherwise that is one tough crate that is just bouncing off a stone wall and made a crack. Throwing chickens and cows, I don't really want them to go splat. I don't want this to be too ridiculous now. Because if you're throwing a cow at it and the cow just turns to meat, it's a little bit over the top. I kind of want it to be almost like a life-size plastic cow being thrown at it. Kind of the cow going moo and just flying. Sound effects would be another thing I need to put in here. Hey, we won. Complete a level. Make the animals scream. Yeah. How's it going, BG man? Hope you're having a good Friday. Yeah, the chicken will make a sound, the cow will moo at the flies. Just add a bit of comedy. Cause I want this to be a light-hearted comedy-based game. With a little bit of sticking it to the man kind of thing. Like, this guy owns most of the land, and you're just a villager that owns nothing, but you're upset with him. Going excellent, thank you. Glad to hear that, BG man. Assuming that's how you spell it, or is it Beeg? Is it Beeg man or BG? That can't be into the set. It is. I only recorded an hour set. Oh, let's find a bit more music. That was a good set. I enjoyed that one. I can DJ when I want to. Right, let's play something from 2020. Something from 2022, sorry. March 2022 this DJ set was from. Let's get that going. Big man, cool. Big man. It's a pleasure to have you here, big man. Right, so that's a wooden crate. We have a barrel. Where's the barrel? Let's render the barrel. Unrender the crate. So I'm thinking I might have to rename some of these to make them easier to work with. I don't know. Yeah, we've got a bell as well. But at the moment right now I'm writing the code so you can, as a player, change these. It's pretty cool so far though. Well, thank you for saying that, Extra. And welcome over to Twitch as well. I am multi-streaming onto Twitch and YouTube. So you can pick your options wherever it's best for you to watch. It's one thing I like about multi-streaming. Not everyone likes to use Twitch. Not everyone's so happy with YouTube. But you're welcome no matter where you're watching. Right, so let's have a look at the code again. Hey there, B302. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Much appreciate that. Hope you're having a good Friday, and just of course make a little note of the message that pops up. We do get a lot of people trying to sell their services in my stream. And we don't buy anything here. We give away for free in the form of conversation and tips in coding and game design, as I'm learning. Joke incoming, my dog Minton ate my shuttlecock. Badminton. Hello, B302. How's it going? Badminton. Badminton. Was that a Milton Jones, I think, said that once. Same old, same old? Well, as long as you're well. How about you? Yeah, I'm pretty good, pretty good. It's been a good Friday. Been a good week in all. We're enjoying a bit of game dev. So we like to make things here. In fact, sort of a lot of the things on my stream I made myself. At least with a little bit of help of people. Fun fact, I actually got into streaming because I liked the idea of setting up the stream. Like, I liked the design work, I liked making the things, I liked doing the logos, I liked setting up OBS, I like sort of creating the scenes. This cow idea made me laugh. As I say, if you're a fan of Monty Python, or if you know Monty Python's comedy, I'm very much inspired in their silliness. Hence the title of the stream. It's a silly little game. Yeah, very much inspired by Monty Python. But I will put a cow in there, because the scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, when the French knights start launching farm animals over the wall, is kind of where I got the idea from this. But yeah, so I started streaming because I like making things. Not necessarily because I was wanting to be the next big personality or anything. But I just like talking to people. Medieval Total War 2 does it? Ooh. Okay, I might have to look into that as an inspiration. I'm always looking for games that kind of I can learn from and get inspiration from. I've actually got a big planning board, I suppose you can call it, for my bigger game, because this is kind of me trying things out. This is kind of like, ooh, I wonder how you do this, I wonder how you do that. But this is like a precursor to me making a bigger game that I want to make. This isn't the game I want to make, it's a game that I would like to make and I am making. But there is a game I want to make. And I'm writing down all these inspirations on how to create this game before I even write a single line of code. You can launch cows that smell very bad and they lower morale of the enemy. Nice. Well, that'd be a nice reference to Total War then. Maybe I'll make like smell graphics coming off when you hit the wall with the cow. Because at the moment, no matter what you hit the wall with, it crumbles. Which I suppose a wall would crumble when you hit it. But maybe at the same time when the cow hits the wall, the cow lets off a smell. Like a green cloud or something. Or a brown cloud. That could be something fun to make. Right. Bought more Wu-Tang merch. Nice. What you get? Is it more clothing, or you got some music items? Got a shirt. Nice. Not bought a shirt in a long time, for good reason. I don't have the space. I keep seeing really cool shirts and go, oh, I love that, but no space. In a bigger order with other shirts and LPs. Nice. I should make a tiny rabbit that makes double the cracks. Walks away casually. That could be quite funny. I like that, big man. Yeah, the killer rabbit. Maybe that could be an object that pops up periodically. Like, you can't select it for your whole run, maybe. Unless it's a special object which you can get after completing a challenge, maybe. Or the rabbit appears once every so many throws. I don't know. That's definitely an OP one. But I like the idea of it. It's just where you fit it in. Whether it's a reward after doing a challenge so you can do it quicker. Or it's a 1 in 10 chance a rabbit is available to you. A bomb would be hard. A bomb. Yeah, trying to get... well, it depends how you code it. Sort of, you wouldn't necessarily want to take down the building too quickly, because that's the whole game loop. Playing Bannerlord. Ooh, what's Bannerlord about? But yeah, I could do like your typical Bomberman bomb. You know, the spherical one with like a little fuse at the top. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. Oh, okay. That sounds cool. Such a chatty stream. I've had to have several swigs of water there. But I like all these ideas. You've got a lot of good ideas, chat. A lot of good ideas. But yeah, I like the idea of the cow making a smell, the rabbit causing more damage, but then hopping away. So that would be a challenge in itself, to make the rabbit, when it lands, not go back to the player, but hops off. Unless of course rabbits have multiplied, as they do, and when the rabbit touches the ground you get another rabbit, but the rabbit doesn't disappear, it just hops off. Interesting thing with that, you'll probably have to spawn. The way that sort of game design will work, especially how I've made this, when you see the rock tumble, hit the wall, hit the ground, I'm then telling it, move this object here back into the hands of the player. So it's the same object that you threw before coming back to you. So it doesn't disappear and make a new object, it's taking this one that's fallen to the floor and giving it back to you. So the way that would work is the rabbit hits the ground, it gets given back to the player, but in the point that the rabbit hit the ground, spawn another rabbit that runs. So it's a different rabbit, if that makes sense. So yeah, so when rabbit hits ground, spawn a running rabbit that runs off. As long as it doesn't seem too weird that the rabbit touches the ground, maybe on its back, and then rights itself and runs off. I don't know. We'll have to give it a go. It's the whole point of these streams in this game is to try things out, and that's not something I considered. So I like that idea, and that will certainly give me a challenge to work through. Yeah, give them hell. Nice idea, thank you. But yeah, that's a good coding challenge to go, well, spawn a rabbit, and the object will be running already, so there'll be a rabbit that runs as soon as as soon as the rabbit exists in the game, it runs. Like, it's the only purpose it does. It runs. Maybe it runs for 5 seconds and then disappears. Otherwise, you'll have rabbits running everywhere, and the game might start getting a bit laggy. Especially if you keep throwing rabbits in areas that have already been hit. And I know Unity's pretty good, but I don't think it's that good. Yeah, you can imagine that. The whole level full of rabbits. It'll be chaos. It's not kind of the chaos we're after. So let's make a little note here, because I want to... make a note that reset all rock meshes to not rendered. What is going to be the game name? Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. Multiply and conquer method, but I have no idea if it would be hard or easy. Yeah, I think there'll be a certain amount of lag. As you suspect, the more objects in the game, the more memory and the higher chance of lagging. Like, if I build this correctly, this should be able to work as a mobile game. But certainly, too many rabbits on the screen will probably crash your phone. But I'm trying to make this sort of work on your PC and on your phone. Hence the buttons, but also keyboard controls. Like, let's save that. Yeah, come on, save. Right. Yeah, so these buttons on the screen here is mainly for if you're playing it on mobile, you can tap them with your finger. But there's also keyboard controls, so you don't have to use your mouse. So I would like to try and make it mobile friendly, like touchscreen friendly, but also PC friendly. The other thing I'd like to do is when you hit the tree, have some birds flying out of it. But that's another little thing to do. That's a spawning thing again. So it'll be the same sort of code. When object hits object, spawn third object. Okay, so we've got code that hides everything now. What's the Sigma? What the Sigma? How's it going, Systolic Drake? Hope you're having a good Friday. Oh, you mentioned name, Roblox. So, I'm not 100% set on the name of the game, hence the stream title is Silly Little Game, as opposed to working on a set game. But I'm thinking some kind of play on words for Angry Birds, because it's kind of like a little bit Angry Birds, but in 3D. But rather than knocking down small panels, you're knocking down the whole house in one go. So maybe Angry Bards, but I know there's a game called Angry Bards already out there. I'm not sure if it's a good game. And I don't have to not call my game Angry Bards. Especially although the bards with lutes and musical instruments, waving out instruments and shouting at the person in the castle. I don't know. It could be fun. But how's it going, Systolic Drake? Hope you're having a good Friday. Hope you've had a good week. Hope everyone's had a good week. Angry feeling birds. I'm not sure we'll get a... I don't know. Depends if Angry Birds will get upset about that. Angry Birds might be even angrier birds. Launch feels like a good name to me. Oh, Launch. Angry Barn? Could I have a cow and rabbit so? Yeah. Angry Barn. Because the whole point is that your character in the game is angry. Kind of think like, you're angry at your government. They're taxing you too much. You go, I want to let them know that I'm not happy. I'm going to throw things at the government building. In the medieval case, the government or the lord is in a big castle. You live in a small wooden hut. Furious feather creatures. That sounds like another game entirely, that does. Hungry Bards, so it fits with the Revolt theme. Oh yeah. Hungry Bards. Maybe the Lord of the Land is not allowing them their food. Maybe not. He's desecrated the farming lands. So yeah, I've got to think of a story to justify throwing things at houses, basically, and also make a funny title, because you got to have a funny title. But Hungry Bards, it would definitely be a play on Angry Birds. I like that one, Big Man. Hungry Bards, and it's not too close. I don't know if there's a game called Hungry Bards already, or whether it's a play on the Hungry Hippos. Mesh renderers, mesh. Names, I need to get the names of my children. Names of the children inside the rocks. Heated Ghouls. Sounds a cool name of fowls, heated fowls. Fowl could be interesting. Some good suggestions there. I say I haven't settled on a name so far, but all these suggestions are good. Makes me gives me something to think about. Heated fowls. Yeah, I'll probably have to. If I think of a little bit more story around it, maybe I can find a name from the story. Hey, Siraj Kumar, welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. What program are you using to code? So for coding, I'm using Microsoft Visual Studio. So this is free to download to use, but this particular one is of course tied to Unity. So I'm using Unity as my game engine, and Unity works quite nicely with Microsoft Visual Studio. So, and I'm familiar with this. I actually use Visual Studio in my day-to-day work for doing things far less interesting. So I'm quite familiar. Angry, warm-blooded, egg-laying vertebrate animals distinguished by the possession of feathers, wings, a beak, and typically being able to fly. I like it. I like it. It's a little long-winded, but it's very descriptive. Yeah, very cool. In fact, there have been games that have had such a long title that they just get known for how ridiculous the title is. Like ridiculous titles that comes to mind to me is like Untitled Goose Game, because they didn't have a name for Untitled Goose Game, so while they were making it, they just called it Untitled Goose Game, and they never came up with a name. So it's always been and was released as Untitled Goose Game. I don't want to steal that idea. I don't want to call this Untitled Rock Throwing Angry Person Game. Although that might be quite catchy. I don't know. But yeah, if I work on the narrative of why you're throwing stuff, maybe something comes from that. Because it is a villager who's not happy with the lord of the land. Here is the title for... Oh, for short. Okay. Ah, nice. AWBELVADPFWBATBAF. How much time will it take you to make this game? So how much... So like in total from start to finish. So I've been doing this for 2 hours every Friday, most Fridays, for most of this year now. We're doing for most of this year. I can't remember when I started this, but I've only been doing like 2.5 hour sessions for the most part. So in hours, ooh. Hey, thank you, Extra Elton, for the follow on Twitch. Much appreciate that. Means a lot. Let's think. So if we take a rough 8-hour day, that would be 2 months. So we're on nearly in 6 months. 2, 4, 1, 2. Probably about a solid week of work so far. If I did this a full-time job, I reckon a week to 2 weeks maybe so far to get this to this point. But I've only been doing for 2 hours a week. So it's not too bad. I've got a functioning game that I can release. There's not a lot in it, but I can give you a copy now and you can play it, and you'll say congratulations, you've won the game. Click here to play again or click here to exit. So by definition it is a finished game. It just doesn't have a lot of content in it. Hence why I'm doing things like this, by allowing you to change what the rock or the object you throw is. But I'm thinking I've reset all the mesh renderers. I need to get all the names. Do I need to get all the names? There's 2 ways I could do this. I can get all the names of all the children in the rock object. I can then cycle through all the names until the name the player has selected matches the name in the loop, in which case make that object visible. Or I reference that object by name directly and just tell it to go visible. I don't know if the latter is possible. It might be. Extra Alton, alright, I'll see you next Friday. Okie dokie. Well, thank you for the follow. Thank you for hanging out and good chats and suggestions. It's been awesome. Hope you enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next Friday for more game dev. Where are you going to launch it? And you can use AI to get a name. True, I could do actually. Suraj. Good idea. I've used AI for suggestions in the past. I've not considered that before, but it makes sense. Can The Rock say Justin Bieber quotes? I could probably try and model Justin Bieber and you throw him at the wall and you could say quotes. To be honest, I'd be quite happy throwing Justin Bieber at a wall. That could be fun. We've always had suggested that Dwayne The Rock Johnson's head could be something you can throw at the wall. So you're quite literally throwing The Rock at the wall. So that'd be quite fun. But yeah, we can make it add a bit of memeability, memeable content, possibly. Be one of those kind of games that streamers will end up playing because they just want to find the Easter eggs and the funny bits. Things like Chair Simulator, where you just sit on the chair. They get quite big with streamers. How many years of experience do you have in coding? So, coding. Technically, my first coding experience was when I was 11. I did some coding in Quick Basic or Q Basic. I didn't really understand it at the age of 11 and go, well, I could read the code and go, well, I know how to change it, but I couldn't write it at the age of 11. And I've been coding since college, like properly coding since college, and that was in 2000. So 24 years of actual coding. But my first coding was when I was 11. Actually, I got a name idea, Foul Feathers. That could be interesting. I like that. Yeah, I've been coding since year 2000. So at college, and then every job I've had since then I've kind of worked coding into. My current job at the moment is coding every day, which I'm quite happy about. So I'm paid to sit at a computer and write code, but not gaming code. So this is fun. I get to write code like this anyway, but it has no fun like cows or chickens that you throw at walls. It's very much just handling financial data and making sure sales are recorded properly, which is, it can be its own interesting fun, but sales records are nowhere near as fun as making chickens fly. That's cool. I'm in college doing my degree in computer science. Nice. My college qualification was computer studies. I think they call it computer science now. They don't really call it computer studies anymore. So it'd probably be a very similar thing. I didn't get a degree. I didn't go degree level. Because writing papers, I don't like writing papers. I like coding. So I found it hard to write papers at college. So just let me write a program for you. I don't need to write 50,000 words on how to write a program. Hate the math part. Okay, I absolutely love the math part. Like, I was top of the class for math when I was in school, and brilliant for my my coding classes at college. But absolutely hopeless at the write-up stuff. But I do have a qualification in software engineering now, which is good. Thankfully, didn't have to write too much up for that one, but I'm happy I got a good score on software engineering. So yeah, very happy considering I don't like writing stuff, unless it's code. Writing about things and doing a thing is completely different for me. But maths is very useful for coding, because in the basic level of things, sort of coding is just manipulating numbers. Like this here, like a timer. You want to okay, counting a timer. You want to like reset that as a number. Calculating the drag and the mass of an object, just to make a thing fly through the air and hit it. Changing the angle of something, so that's kind of calculating angles. Or to make a rock kind of throw at a wall. So maths becomes quite useful. And hopefully you can find the fun in maths and go, okay, give yourself a mathematical problem that interests you. You go, well, I want to work this out because it's interesting, not because, why do I need to calculate the area of a square or the area of a triangle or a circle? But at the end of the day, well, calculating the area of a circle may allow you to then determine how many points a player gets if they hit that circle as a target. Like, do they get more points for hitting close to the centre and things like that? But in itself, it's meaningless. Why? What use is calculating the area of a circle? By itself, none. But it's where it goes on from there. Now you have that knowledge, what can you do with it? And that's basically where maths is. It's like, by itself, maths has no meaning. It's just what you do with the results of the maths. That's the main thing. Maths is a tool for greater things. But I can understand a lot of people don't like doing maths. I didn't like doing language, like written language stuff. And I like coding because this doesn't have to be a proper spoken written language. It's just very simple, like hit ground, reset, hit ground, false. Very basic language. I don't need to worry about grammar, just that it makes sense. Here's a fun fact. There is sliding doors philosophy. Dead serious. Sliding door philosophy. That rings a bell, Systolic. What's the philosophy on sliding doors? I do like philosophy. Unfortunately, philosophy requires a lot of reading, and along with writing, I'm not very keen on it. I can read instructions, I can read facts, I can read to gain information, but philosophy is a lot of thought written into a lot of words. But any philosophy that can be summarised into a couple of lines, I can usually get behind. How do you deal with stress when you get a bug? Now here's a tip for bugs. Is that you as a coder get blind to the bug because you wrote the code. As far as you're concerned, it's fine. You wrote it. When you wrote it, it made sense, and there should be a problem. The best thing to do with a bug is to read through your code to a third person. So if you have a friend, and you can go to your friend, excuse me, can I talk to you, friends, for a moment? I have a bug. Can I talk you through my code? And you go, your friend will hopefully go, yes, that's fine. So you go, well, here's how my code works. So I have a function that's called rotate direction. I create a floating variable called y. I then set the angles, the y axis of the angles to the floating variable y. And you kind of talk through it, and you'll find the bug because you're telling your friend what each line of your code does. But when you're reading it, just in your head, you go, well, I know what that does. I know what that does. That's doing a thing, that's fine. I know what that does. Yeah, that's just doing direction. And you kind of skip through the code really quickly. But if you have to slow down enough to say to your friend, how does this line work? You go, hang on a minute, no wonder that doesn't work, because that shouldn't be there. And there's a terminology for this. If you don't have a friend, you can have a rubber duck, like the little yellow squeaky ducks. If you have one of those, and this terminology is called rubber duck debugging. So rather than having a friend, you hold this duck and you explain all your code to this duck. You go, okay duck, I'm going to talk to you about my code. And you explain the code to the duck, and as you're doing it, you find the bug. And it's just slowing yourself down enough to actually understand what your code is doing in order to understand where the bug is. You can't always guarantee, but it's a good chance you will find the bug. There's something with sliding according to Google. Yeah, generally sliding doors do slide. Some people think sliding door moments are something. Oh, like sliding doors as in an opportunity to change something. Is that what sliding doors? They made a whole movie about it, didn't they? Like where sort of it could be a split in two possibilities. Is that what I'm thinking? There was a movie called Sliding Doors, and there was like a person not making it to the train in time. The sliding doors close, but in another time in reality, they got through before the doors closed, and that sets them off in two different timelines. Ain't no way there is a sliding doors rabbit hole. Oh wow. Oh, I bet. A lot of these things you can get stuck on a rabbit hole. You end up spending hours on Wikipedia articles which link to more articles which link to more articles which link to kind of papers, and you can spend your entire night until the sun comes up. But yeah, hopefully that bugging technique will help you, Siraj. But yeah, just slow yourself down, explain your code to someone who doesn't understand code, and usually you'll find the bug. Failing that, Googling any error messages. But yeah, getting stressed is understandable. But it's just kind of, well, it's hard to see a bug when you've written the code. Finding someone that understands your code as much as you do might see the bug straight away. Like at work, in my office, there's two coders, myself and my manager. And quite often my manager will write some code and go, well, I have a bug, can't understand why it's not working. He'll show me the code. And either he will talk through the code and he goes, ah, there it is. Found it. And I've not said a word. I've just been quiet the whole time. Or he'll show me the code, I'll look at it and go, well, is that what you meant to write? Or should it be this? And you go, ah, of course, yeah, that's what it should be. So either way, if you have a friend that understands code, they might see it. If they don't, explain it to them so they do understand how it's working. And in doing so, you find where the bug is. It can be a bit harder when you have two things interacting because you don't know. One thing works in theory, another thing works in theory, but when you bring them together, it can be unpredictable. Like if the rock or the barrel hitting the building, I know how the rock moves, I know how the building reacts, but they might not do what I expect. In which case, my usual go-to is it in here? I might have deleted it. Is logging. What I tend to do, if I can't work out a bug, I just set logging on. So there we go. In C#, it's debug.log brackets whatever you want to log. So for this, I was like, I don't know what the maximum render number is and what's the minimum render number. And I don't know if it's working out. I don't know if that's right. So I just logged what the maximum minimum is. And when you're running your code, the console down here will print off everything you log. So when that code runs, it'll just start printing numbers there. You go, oh, that's what the numbers that the code are coming up with. That's not the numbers I was expecting. I now need to look at why those numbers are the way they are. And that helps you find the bug. So if it can't be seen in syntax the way it's been written, it might be in the numbers, in which case you need to log it, look back at the log and go, ah, so this number changed to this number, which changed to this number, but that's not the number I was expecting. So that's another good tip for finding bugs. Log stuff to the console. Probably bored you with debugging now. Let's find the names. Let's go for this route, and we could probably improve it afterwards. So we've selected all the children objects, or the child objects in the rock parent. Now we want all the names. So names are strings. So we have a string array. An array is a collection of the same type of thing. So an array of strings, a string is text. An array of strings is lots and lots of little bits of text. Think of it like a spreadsheet in Excel. We have all these little cells across the top, and each one has a bit of text in. That is what a string array is. It's just lots of little boxes of text. So I'm saying I want a string array called names. Okay, so then I want to go, well, names is equal to my rigid body, which is the rock, get components and children, and I want to grab the, what is it called? What is it called? Is it name? Let's have a look on the what do they call it? It's that bit there. Is it a name? I don't know what it's called. I was expecting it to be called a name, because it is its name. But it's not. Is it namespace? Might not be namespace. Let's have a look at what can I put in here. A lot of things I can put in here. Not very good. Property name represents a string in, as in int for efficient lookup comparison. Use this common property names. I don't know. Don't think it's namespace. Namespace is a coding space. It'd be game object dot. Is it that way? What is it? Is it not a component, is it? It's not a component. Maybe it's not a component. It is... it is children. We want to get the children, but we want the names of the children. How do we get the names? Components and children, components and parents. Apparently there are sliding door signs that indicate the status availability of a room. Oh, they mean like in use, like, or meeting in progress. You just slide it to go not in progress. I'm going to stop and view tomorrow. Cool, yeah. You could just keep going down that rabbit hole. There's a lot of things to do with sliding doors, I suppose. I've seen signs you can stick on doors that, like a little block like that, and so if you slide it to say, well, meeting, no meeting, or room available. Just makes it easy rather than having like a poster on the door or something. I might have to Google this one. It might be a component. Let's just go. That's not right, is it? That is the expression. How do you insert a load of is it just brackets? Oh, or is it chevrons? There's so many different bracket types. I would have thought it would be that. It usually is. I literally don't know. Anyway, let's have a quick Google. And see what the code is. We'll leave now. I'll see you tomorrow. Okie dokie. Thank you for dropping by, Systolic Drake. Much appreciate the chats. It's been awesome talking to you. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday and enjoy your weekend. My next stream will be on Monday. My next game development stream will be next Friday. So if you enjoy the game dev streams, I can see you next Friday. If you want to see some Stardew Valley will be on Monday. So if you're interested in random streams, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. But game dev is on Friday, so if you're interested in that, I can see you then. But yeah, enjoy your weekend and I'll see you again soon. Alright, let's have a quick looky. So Unity, child, object names, list child objects. How to get a list of child game objects. That sounds like a thing I need. Transform. Built-in transform function. I'm going to find. Not quite what I'm after. This one's a list of the child objects. Just what the names, just the names. So get children objects. For each transform child in object transform. Children and child. A lot of these things are not further understanding. How does that give me what I'm after? Oh. Suppose I kind of need the transform is to be positioning of the object. I'm not sure why. A lot of these suggestions here are grabbing the transforms. Now transform is where it sits in space. Okay, let's go back. Maybe it's something with a bit more context. Get child object. Get child object. It's children objects into a list. So, how about this one? So saved all child positions or three types of fields into this of transform, but for some reason when I insert the game object positions, I don't care about their positioning. Positioning is static to I can understand wanting to know where all the child objects are. That's going to be quite useful, but I just want to reference the object in itself. Yeah, an array of child objects. Okay, bodies, rigid bodies. Do they have rigid bodies? Let's have a quick look. Do they have rigid bodies? They don't, so I can't choose a rigid body. Is that why they're using transform? Because they get the parent game object of the transform components. It seems a little bit clunky of doing this. So you have to get a list of the components. So like I've been doing, get a list of the components and then find the object that those components are attached to. So you get the list of components and then create another list of the objects of those components into that list. Surely that can't be the most efficient way of doing it. Yeah, that's everything I find online is suggesting get a list of a particular component and then find the object that they're attached to. It's like saying, well, give me a list of hats and then find the owners of those hats. Weird, but if that's the way it has to be done, then I suppose we do it that way. I don't want to have to tag the object. So idea being, I want to minimize the amount of work needed to add another object. Generally speaking, that's what I want to do for the whole of this game, is minimize the work to add content. I don't have to spend an hour just to add something else to it. I want to just go click click, that now works with the code that's already in the game. That's where I want to get to, because the idea, once I've got all that in place, the game will explode with content because I can just go click 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 and I know it works. So it's kind of building a good foundation is what I'm aiming for. Having to tag the objects is an extra stage that if I don't tag it, it means it never gets included. So what about this one? So another drink. Might have to go and have myself a banana soon. Feeling a bit hungry. And though it is 11:15 here, it's getting a little bit on the later side, and I do have to be up tomorrow morning. So I'll go for no more than 15 more minutes. Let's find out a cleaner version of that method. Okay, let's write some code. So they're using the transform. So let's take that out for the moment. So let's go transform. Might as well just call it transform. And we will make that an array. So transform equals rig dot get components. So this could be transform. So that gives me a list of transform. So we do the same code again for each. So for each transform, and call it T in transform. So for each of those we go T dot game object dot name guess as the name. And we can go names dot add. Let's call it just a string ob name go ob name equals. So that satisfies that. So we just need to put this into a into its own array of stuff then. Now is it suggesting we do that? So we have a list. How do we add to the array? I suppose we can have a counter, so int name no, and we go name no plus equals 1. Actually no, we go for the C# plus plus. Use of unassigned. Oh. Set it as 0. Yep. So then we go names name no equals ob name. What's he not liking here? Oh, it's called namespace. Oh, names. Might have we put that above. So we're declaring it after we've used it. Not a very good practice. Oh. Equals new string. Okay, we'll do that. Does mean I'm limited to 10 objects. So that's given me an array of 10. Does the array start at 0? In which case I want this to be afterwards. So that should then give me a list of names. I can probably go, and again, for or int I equals 0. So this then name no I++. That really makes no difference, does it? It should really be beneath that. So it starts at 0 and it increments it. And it needs to be -1 really. Because it'll always be added at the end. And then we want to pass in a... What do we want to pass? We want to pass in a string. Call it selected rock. So if names I is equal to selected rock, then here's the interesting bit. We need to get the we've gone a bit past what we want to do because we've got it here. We don't need to actually store it. We just need to look for it here. So forget all that. We do it at this point here. So we have the name. So we go if ob name is equal to selected rock, then t dot game objects dot get components mesh renderer and we need to actually put that into a put it in here, I think. So mesh renderer mesh to enable mesh to enable is equal to that. Put it in the wrong place again. Always put it in the brackets, never in the triangles. So mesh to enable dot enabled is true. Right, okay. That's not used, we can get rid of that now. That's not used anymore, we can get rid of that. Cool, so we've simultaneously written and then refined the code in one go, which is usually how it goes. So this first part here sets them all to invisible. This next part sets the one that needs to be visible. So that means all I have to do on the UI now is call select rock, pass in the name of the object I want to use as the rock, and that will be the one that the player sees. So let's save that. Wait for that to save on the screen. You can't see the box that pops up. Right, so I would have to pass in these names here on the left. So stone underscore env underscore 02 space sort of bracket 1 bracket, or crate underscore wooden underscore prop. So I'd have to pass those names. So the UI on the right hand side here, the code will just have to reference each of those names. So to add an object for me, all I have to do in the work is drag it into here, line it up, add a button, put the name in, call the function. And it will work. The code will just work then. Now I could be smarter, even smarter, and go, well, the UI on the right will actually read this list, much like it is here, and create a button for everything in the list. And in the same time, right. Now, could I automatically assign the code? I don't know. Now it'll be interesting to try and procedurally create the buttons with all the links and everything. I'll have to look into that as a bit of research. That might be interesting. Might save myself a lot of time, just to literally drag it in there and then the code writes it all for me. That'd be quite cool. I might give that a go. I like the idea of that. Did you add a flagpole, or did I just notice that? Flagpole, or this up here? That's not a... or you mean on the colours? Which bit? Because that's... oh, the line. So the line is actually the screen. So that's the player's screen. So those are the buttons on the screen there. So if I come over here. So that's how big the screen is. Come around the back. So yeah. So yeah, that's the screen. I don't know why it has to do it like that, but that's the way Unity works. Is that's the screen. Well, I say of course, but I don't know these things. That's no problem. Yeah, so it puts the screen there. That's like real-time size. As the game itself is it's tiny. Whoops. I could add a flag. That might be something fun to do. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there for now though. And I'll look at the code for procedurally creating UI elements. Because I think that will save myself some time in the future. Plus gives me a bit of knowledge. So I say, if I can get so the game does most of the calculating for me, then I can churn out levels just by dragging things in there and the code just works. I don't need to assign values, I don't need to write extra bits, I don't need to change names. I just put it in there and the game code will just go, ah, there's an object, I'll add it into the code for you. That's my goal. So I feel it should make game development better in the long run if I can write code that assigns things for me. So I don't have to worry that, oh, did I add that feature in there? Did I turn this thing on? Did I select that? Did I set it up properly? Go, no, it just does it for me. So that's where I want to go with it. But it's now hit 11 o'clock. Let's switch to the other camera. The other scene. The camera's the same camera, so you need just one camera. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to get some rest. It's going to be a busy weekend, so don't want to stay up too late. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us. It's been a really busy stream, very cool stream. Cool, yeah, very cool indeed. So many awesome people dropping in by today. Whether you've been chatting or lurking, I appreciate you all being here. We'll see you next time. Yes, I'll see you on Monday for Stardew. I know it's one of the last few Stardews, if not the last Stardew for a little while. So we'll make the most of that. So looking forward to that. So yeah, next stream will be on Monday, Stardew Valley. Thank you for the stream, or thank you for being here, Lisa. And then Wednesday, I don't know what I'm doing Wednesday. I might play Fallout 1. I'll see how that runs. I'll see if I can get that working in OBS. If not, I'll pick a random Lego game. Have a great weekend. See you Monday. Yes, indeedy. Would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. Good night. Hey, Fame. I saw you there lurking. Thank you for being here, dude. Hope you have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. By the way, I sell a cool emote. You do indeed, Lisa. So yeah, I'll see you all on Monday. Oh, that's a cute dragon. I like that. Yeah, see you on Monday for Stardew. More game dev next Friday, and potentially Fallout 1 on Wednesday. But yeah, have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I shall see you there. Have a good night. Good night.